In a small town surrounded by quiet green hills, there lived a boy named Ethan. He went to the local school, an ordinary boy by every measure. He played with friends after class, listened to birds in the morning, and watched clouds drift slowly across the sky. That was his whole world. But there was one thing Ethan struggled with more than anything else: studying. No matter how long he sat with his books, the words never seemed to stay. Lessons slipped away as soon as he read them. When teachers asked questions, his mind went blank. Some classmates laughed when he answered wrong, and each laugh stayed with him longer than it should have. Over time, Ethan stopped raising his hand. Then he stopped believing he could ever be good at learning at all. One afternoon, after the final bell rang, the school grew quiet. As Ethan walked past an empty classroom, he noticed Mr. Harris, the philosophy teacher, sitting alone at his desk. Ethan paused. His chest felt tight, but something pushed him forward. "Sir," he said softly, "can I talk to you?" Mr. Harris looked up and smiled, not rushed, not distracted. "Of course, Ethan. Come sit." Ethan stared at the floor for a moment before speaking. "I try hard, but I don't understand anything. I forget what I study. I can't focus. Sometimes I feel like there's no point in trying." The words came out quietly, but they carried a heavy weight. Mr. Harris didn't answer right away. Instead, he stood and brought back a small glass bottle filled with muddy water. "What do you see?" he asked. "Dirty water," Ethan replied. Mr. Harris placed it on the table. "Let's leave it alone." They sat in silence. After some time passed, Ethan noticed the mud settling at the bottom. The water slowly cleared. "What do you see now?" "It's clear," Ethan said, surprised. "Your mind works the same way," Mr. Harris said gently. "When it's shaken by fear, pressure, and noise, nothing is clear. But when you let it settle, understanding comes on its own." That was the first thing Ethan felt, not advice, but relief. Next, Mr. Harris lit a small candle and placed it between them. "Just watch the flame," he said. At first, Ethan's thoughts wandered, to exams, to mistakes, to tomorrow. But each time, he brought his attention back. Slowly, the room felt quieter. "The present moment," Mr. Harris said, "is the only place learning can happen." Then he picked up a sponge and a small stone. He poured water over both. The sponge soaked it in. The stone stayed dry. "Memorizing without understanding is like the stone," he said. "Understanding is like the sponge. It holds on because it makes space." After that, Mr. Harris showed Ethan a solid wooden block. Ethan tried to snap it but couldn't. When the block was cut into smaller pieces, it broke easily. "Big things feel impossible," the teacher said, "until you make them small." Finally, they stepped outside to 2 small pots of soil. Mr. Harris watered one lightly. The other he left alone. "Growth doesn't come from one long effort," he said. "It comes from returning every day, even briefly." In the weeks that followed, Ethan didn't change overnight. But something inside him shifted. He stopped fighting his mind and learned to steady it. He studied in smaller pieces. He focused on understanding instead of rushing. Slowly, his confidence returned, not loudly, but quietly. Learning no longer felt like punishment. It felt possible. Years later, as a young man, Ethan still remembered that quiet classroom and the muddy water settling on its own. He understood then what he couldn't see before. Growth doesn't begin with force. It begins with patience. And sometimes, all it takes is learning how to let the mind become still enough to see clearly.